Hello and welcome to a new Ink and Watercolor Sketch, a quick urban sketch, this time of the old opera house from Frankfurt, Germany. I started by drawing the basic shape of the building, a rectangle for the lower part and another rectangle for the higher one. And these two rectangles are also the contour of the building, the outer lines that define the total shape. Once we have the contour of the building done with simple geometric shapes, it becomes very easy to move them around and create the composition. Also, we can be sure that it will fit well on our piece of paper. By the way, this is an A5 format. So, now that I have the building placed on paper with very simple geometric shapes, we can start to divide it into smaller parts that represent the different volumes of the building. We have to investigate a bit how the building actually looks in 3D, because from this reference photo we see almost only one facade. I took this picture when we were visiting Frankfurt last summer, so I know the place. Here you can see a screenshot from Google Maps with the building seen from above, and we can see that the facade is not only a flat surface, it has many planes. Some are closer to us and some are a bit further away. And the way we will sketch the different plans that define the depth of the building is by using the help of one-point perspective. As this picture was taken looking directly, almost perpendicular to the building, all its depth lines converge to one single vanishing point that sits on the horizon line. The horizon line is around the height of the people in the picture, kind of at their eye level, because I was also standing when taking this picture. In order to get good proportions on your sketch, try not to skip this initial step of drawing what you see using only simple geometric shapes, because in this way it becomes very easy to move them around and adjust them until you find the good proportions. Once you start drawing every window, it's very hard to change its placement if needed. So now I am just sketching a bit of the surrounding elements, very simple lines, mainly just scribbling their position, and we will define them better in the next step. Now it's time to do the permanent sketch with waterproof ink. We will just build on top of the previous step by dividing it further and adding more details. So, in this next step, we will sketch the 5 arcades of the portico. We will add a bit of depth to the cornices and to the pediments and suggest some other shapes. Let's look a bit at the cornices and analyze how they are in reality. We know that the cornices in reality are placed at the same height from the street level, and they simply follow the perimeter of the building. But if we look at our reference photo, we can see that they seem to get closer to the horizon line, and that is because their depth lines converge to the vanishing point. suggesting a bit more details on the facade, like the statues that sit on top of the roof, specific to many old buildings. Hatching a bit here and there to suggest the texture of the materials. Okay, now that we have the building, we can populate the urban scene with all its surrounding elements, the people, the fountain, the trees, and other buildings, and so on. Speaking about sketching people, as you can see, I still have a bit to practice. There is a lot of room for improvement. So, what do you think about sketching people? How is it for you? Is it hard? Is it easy? Let me know in a comment below. Alright, we have our sketch. Now it's time to add some color to it. For the watercolor wash, we first have to identify the direction of the light in order to have a clear image in our head of where the shadows will be. The sun is almost centered behind us, a bit to the left. The picture was taken in the middle of the day when the sun was quite high in the sky, so we don't have many casted shadows on this side of the building, which makes it quite hard to paint. The strongest shadows are at the underside of the cornices and the roof lines. I started with a simple mix of brown and blue, sometimes using a bit more brown, sometimes more blue, and sometimes a bit of purple. I try to variate so that the eyes can move around the sketch, but also because there is a lot of light that bounces around, and every time it hits a surface, that surface reflects some of its color. So in reality, every surface has many colors, even though it may seem as a simple beige wall. Suggesting the water. By the way, if you are enjoying this video, take a moment to subscribe to my channel, because more videos like this will come. Also, please let me know in a comment if this video is helpful and if you have any suggestions that I can incorporate in the future videos. Painting the sky with a simple wash of cobalt blue. It's very fun to paint on a small paper format with a big brush, because you just add 2-3 strokes and the sky is done. It doesn't take too much time. Now it's time to let the watercolor sketch to dry a bit, and afterwards we will continue with adding a few ink brush strokes. So, at this point, the watercolor mellowed out and the colors combined better. I will try to add a few ink brush strokes to accentuate some areas. I started with the windows inside the portico that are in shadow and seem to be the darkest elements from the building. Then a bit under the roof lines, a bit to the fountain, and a bit to the trees. kinda messed it up. You can see that I added too many ink brush strokes all over the place because I didn't focus on one specific area. The sketching process is easier if you have in mind the different depth plans, the foreground, the middle ground, and the background, and to also choose a focus point and stick to it. I know, the theory is easy, the practice is hard, as you can also see in my sketch. But this is how we learn, by making mistakes and by learning from them. I will try to fix it in the next step when painting the water with atmospheric splashes. In this last step, we will be painting the fountain. And being a fountain, it creates many water drops, many water particles that move around. So, I thought that with a toothbrush and white gouache, I can easily suggest these particles. And I really like the result. I think it made the sketch look better. I use the same technique for the trees, with green, to suggest a bit the movement, maybe the wind. I also added a bit more color to the sketch, some extra yellow and dark green on the trees, some purple here and there on the building. I hope that you find some useful tips in this video and that you will also do your own ink and watercolor sketch. Subscribe, like and comment on this video because it helps my channel a lot and because I post urban sketching videos every week and I try to incorporate a few tips for you.